Ooh, that's a really good title. I think I gotta watch it.
I feel like millennials are like cringy and like lack self-awareness.
Welcome to the Gen Z.
Just looking at their faces, I was thinking which one is millennials and which one is Gen Z. What he just said obviously made that more clear, but just off appearances, I was a little confusing.
I feel like millennials are like cringy and like lack self-awareness.
Welcome to the Gen Z versus Millennial challenge.
That's a pretty nice hook. Good first scene, good teaser. Triggering, makes you want to see more. Something being cringy to you is a very in-group versus out-group thing. Whatever group your in-group is, you're going to have your own social norms, what you find funny. And all the out-groups to your in-group, you're going to see is cringe to some level. So that's not really a millennial thing. It's just an in-group versus out-group thing. And lacking self-awareness, that's everybody. Like humans, human nature, we're all hypocrites. Our mind is really good at covering its own tracks of the bullshit that we do. But we see that bullshit in other people. But we see how they're not self-aware. But we're not able to see that we do the same thing. That's kind of like a human thing. I think that just makes the human race kind of touching when you see our flaws. But when people start generalizing specific groups for things that are a feature of all humanity, I think that's cringe to me.
I brought together two groups of musicians from the
28 to 43.
older and younger generation to see who can make better music. Each team will have 1 hour to create a full beat from scratch and then another hour to record their entire song. Whatever they end up with at the end of those 2 hours, they will have to export and present to our randomly selected judges. Will the new generation coming up prevail, or will the experienced millennials shine through?
You know what's crazy? We told you this would happen. Keep it simple with the drum.
Never have I been this stressed during the creative process, ever.
Fire.
Before they start creating their track, I sat both teams down the day before to see what they thought of each other.
I don't know, I feel like millennials, man, it's like, what are you really doing for music? You know what I mean? Like,
You know what I mean? How do you expect anybody to answer that? Like, if you're talking to a millennial and you just said that, like, how do you expect them to answer that? That's crazy. I mean, I could think of mad heads off top, like Kendrick Lamar is a millennial. To Pimp a Butterfly, Push the Envelope. Beyonce is not afraid to touch various genres. Is she a millennial? She's kind of like on the earlier part of the millennial cutoff. Frank Ocean was breaking a lot of ground. Grimes. Donald Glover. I don't really know where he's coming from.
like,
You mean like culturally?
Like making it good is one
just
thing.
like, no, like,
Like, exactly, like that's how anybody's gonna respond when you talk about the whole group like that. Of course they're gonna be on the defense.
more like, you know, doing something refreshing, doing something interesting, doing something that like,
The fellow.
you know, doing
His face and these are the two different ways to be annoyed. Like this face is like, don't smack him, and this face is like, I'ma smack him. What the? I'm also thinking, is this for the content? I know Kyle Beats is huge. It's like the Mr. Beast of music production YouTube. Were they told to roast each other a little bit in this section? Because there's no way that kid talking.
no.
Yeah, there's no way that this is a real person. I think that's one difference with the generations that's kind of valid, is that millennials were sort of the last generation where you spent a lot of time outside as well as having access to technology, but there was still a lot of face-to-face social interactions where the social dynamics were you had to be careful what you said or how you said it, because if you came off very offensively, you would have to deal with that person's reaction physically right then and there. Whereas Gen Z, they have a lot of social interface through social media technology, and you don't really get those consequences. So you see a lot more of people just saying all kinds of crazy shit, trolling or whatever, saying things that you would never say or that you would never want to say in person, because some things are just not valid to say in face-to-face social interactions. So I feel like that's what he's reminding me of, unless Kyle Beats has told him to be a little bit roasty with each other.
People younger than 30 care about.
I think there's a lot of fast
People, I already named off a bunch of artists. There's no way that these Gen Z kids don't fuck with Kendrick, Frank Ocean, Grimes, Childish.
food with Gen Z. I think it's like oh, we're making this to appease a trend of social media right now, and just who can backflip the hardest at Playboy Cardi.
I feel like doing a backflip to some hard beats is cooler than like being a spiritual lyrical miracle or whatever.
Okay, that's interesting, because I thought that was a general consensus that how dumbed down lyrics got is something that a lot of producers found to be a bit of a step backwards, but they actually find the more lyrical stuff to be more whack. So that's interesting. I'm learning.
I feel like you guys just lack energy. I think that's what it is.
Let's go.
They're getting old, you know what I mean?
The dap. What the? He has pretty eyes, by the way.
It's cool they still make music, but
So you asked, what do we do that's different, right, from everyone else that's in our generation? What do you do that's like good for music in general?
I feel like I'm pushing it forward, honestly.
Where is forward?
I feel like forward is taking from one area
Forward is going from the back to the front and from the left to the right. I feel like he's gonna have some weird dictionary definition like that.
and influences from one spot and then moving them into a new genre, a new place.
These younger generations
much.
may get tapped in with some new technique or ability to make something. Yeah. But it just trickles down. There's probably things that
Yo, this
technique or ability to make is probably
oh, I'm done.
things that you guys, you know, started in whenever that was, when 1980 or I mean,
1980, is that the cutoff?
listen,
That's when like brontosauruses were around, right?
we were able
That's when Brontosaurus, so that wasn't cringy.
to actually help one another too.
There's still millennials out there today, not these two, that are not making a living off music and they're still struggling.
Yeah, and what's crazy is they make the same like music as like these guys. And it's like it sounds the same. And
He is just the comment section. That's his new name for me. Everything he says is like some comment section shit. It's shit that I have never heard in person. Unless they're all buddies and they're just kind of trolling, having fun with each other.
it's just this guy's just like lucky, you know?
Yo, he snapped. He just turned into the Joker right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would just like, you know, save, buy some Bitcoin, and
Oh my
you know,
god. The way they looked at each other when he said that, they're thinking the same thing, like talk about cringe.
like get some assets because I think it's going downhill real quick for you guys.
You think so?
My name is Tor. I'm on
Tour. I'm gonna do some background shit on tour. Yeah, I can't find anything on dude.
Team Gen Z. I'm from Connecticut and I'm an artist.
I'm Bended.
Oh, he's an artist. Tour music artist. How about that? Is that him? He still had the hair. Tour XO. Oh, that's him. I'm gonna listen to his most popular shit. Just cause I'm nerdy like that. Pretty.
All that I wanted, all that I need, yeah. All that I wanted was you next to me. Now that I got you, Lord, I feel relieved. Now that I got you and you set me free. You got my back with my hands tied and show me things that I can't hide. And it's the truth every time that I tell you. Everything you mean to me, giving you my all, I know you never leave. Times I was low, I was keeping you close. Not losing hope, and I know that you know. All that I wanted, all that I need, yeah. All that I want.
That's about the max amount of pitch correction I'd want to hear and still enjoy it. Got that kind of indie sound. I like it. It's a vibe. All right. The oldest looking guy out of the four.
I'm on Team Gen Z. I'm from Des Moines, Iowa, and I am the producer.
Bandit, music producer. Okay, yeah, I couldn't find anything on Bandit.
And
Shouts to Iowa. I don't know anybody from there.
I am the producer.
I'm Matt Corman. I'm on Team Millennials from Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm a rapper.
Boston, Matt Corman. He's not too far from me. Matt Corman, artist. I guess I'll put the word music in there. God damn. He's got millions. 151 subs. Okay, here's some old shit, here's some new shit.
Word to the wise, I'm a G, you don't know me. Yeah. It's triple last month and this whole week. You know exactly what it is, and you know exactly what it isn't, boy. Little bitch, keep talking. Word to the wise, I'm a G, you don't know me. I just tripled last month and this whole week. Double time 06 and an old G. Shorty kissing on my neck, says she know me. Word to the wise, I'm a G, you don't know me.
Okay, he's like if Drake was actually good.
My name is Chu. I'm Team Millennials. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I'm a producer.
He's the producer. Chu, music producer. All glory to God. That's why his demeanor was like that. Real calm, thoughtful. Okay, so he has some tight beats. Here's his music shit. Dope. Nice sound choices. That sounds simple. You might think that sounds like a Lease beat, but it's actually very musical. Wasn't just a bunch of loops. This simple kind of rap beat. This is like if someone knew a good amount of music theory trying to make a simple kind of rap beat. Okay, that's encouraging.
And are you guys confident that you guys are going to win tomorrow?
I'm confident. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I feel very confident going into tomorrow. Extremely.
I am. I'm feeling pretty confident. I know we're gonna win.
You guys have 1 hour to make the best beat of your entire life. Starting at 5.
He brought the guitar with him. Whoa, I didn't know you could put that on a electric. I thought most people just put it on their bass guitar.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's do this shit, bro.
Let's get it. I think we're gonna do
Squire? Maybe that's the only guitar he had.
great.
Squire's good. Like, they're very solid. It's not a guitar that you would really see used on stage or in the studio. I got a Squire, I got a Telecaster, a thin line, but I would have expected somebody to break out like their finest guitar to this filming. But maybe he's one of those guys where all you need is one guitar and you'll make it do everything, which I respect.
Sometimes you do something for long enough and you can get stuck in your ways and you can start thinking that things are good because they worked in the past, but ultimately we need to move things forward. We got to create refreshing things, you know? So I'm pretty
Okay, I see what he means. But you can't throw out millennials over that because millennials did that as well for their generation when they just came in the scene. They were pushing things forward and it's up to each subsequent generation to continue that. I think the thing that's missing is like with millennials, you'll see them cite their influences, their heroes. I mean, they named a whole video game after that, a guitar hero. Like if you're a guitarist, you had a guitar hero, someone you looked up to from the previous 1 or 2 generations. And then when they came on the scene, they changed the sound. They were influenced by what they grew up with, but ultimately their generation is defined by their own unique sound. I think he's not really being a good example for Gen Z because he's now in that same position that millennials were just in. They just did everything that he's talking about, except there's no like respect or homage to the previous generation, which I find odd because he's seeing the work that millennials put in is something to cringe at, whereas I see the road that I'm on was paved by people before me, and I want to revere, honor, and respect that. I'm only here because they paved the way for me to be here and turned this paved road into like a concrete street or something, you know what I mean? And then the generation after me could turn into something better. So yeah, he's not really being a very good example.
confident that we can make something special. I feel like we should just start out with like some like simple chords or something and then just catch a groove. I listen to so much like old music, and so many of like my biggest influences are like older bands and like
Okay, I could tell this is gonna be a very guitar heavy track because he's got like the concept of a composition there. He's using the low and the high strings. So that's pretty much half the beat already. So I'm assuming this guitar is going to be like a third or half the beat.
A lot of music of the past. I think that there's actually a lot of leaning back towards that in my generation, and like a more live, raw, authentic, less polished feel to things.
How do you feel right now? Good?
I'm feeling excited, bro. Set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Me and Chu have been in this position before. We performed under pressure. We made a song that was like, how long? Like make a beat in 60 minutes, make a song in 60 minutes? Come on. Like we can do this. They've never done that before. You're putting us up against some people that they've just never done this task. And this is way harder than hopping in the studio and just making a song. So that's why I have faith in Chu. He's fire. I have faith in myself. It's gonna be easy.
They're going, oh, I was just about to say that. Yeah, they're using a loop.
But it's not because they can't make melodies. Chu literally makes music theory tutorial. I think they might know that creating a melody from scratch with the time limit might be a little risky.
Yeah, if I had all the time in the world, I would definitely prefer to do it originally, unless the whole concept, the whole point is to make like a sample or a loop-based beat. Like maybe 1 out of 50 beats of mine has loops in it, but the way I like to use loops is they're like a placeholder when I'm having beat block. Then I build a beat around it, and then I eventually replace the loop because I enjoy the music part of making music instead of just the making part of making it. But I understand with the challenge, you only got an hour. Yeah, it makes sense. Is this a fair competition? It's like very different kinds of music.
Do I feel threatened competing against the Gen Zers? No.
I don't feel threatened at all. Like, I don't feel threatened at all.
Whatever hair condition he has, I think my cousin has it too. But the shave look is a cool look, so.
Play from there and let me start. I think cut that off at the end thing there. Alright, fuck.
You're good.
Are you nervous at all?
I'm a little nervous, yeah. I am, yeah.
What? I thought he just said he was confident.
But my nerves are not doubt.
Let's just take it.
Team Millennials finished their beat so fast, they literally had 42 minutes to sit there and start writing the song.
That's my favorite way that rappers write their verse. Kind of bouncing along, vibing with the beat, getting the flow there first, and then refining the lyrics at a later date, or in this case, at a later minute. Those are really fun sessions.
And since they were making their beats at different times, Bendit decided to pop in on the 2 Millennials to see how they were doing.
This is the hardest 2-bar loop I've ever heard, man.
Okay, they have to be friends, and they're just asking them to get on each other's nerves or to pretend to. Because after everything he just said in the first sit down, and then coming in here and saying that, like, it would just get a reaction out of most people I know, like a whole physical reaction, like a Winter Soldier trigger.
We got time. We got time. Go back. You have to go back.
Yeah, we got time.
There's no way you were flushed red, pink face, and now you're in here chatting shit. There's no way.
I have a skin condition. It's called rosacea.
That's so Gen Z of you. That's so Gen Z of you to say.
Gen Zers are just like, they grew up with the internet in their hands, so they don't have to face conflict as much face to face, so they're more keen to talk shit without getting hit.
I think
He just more brashly said what I said earlier.
I think it's cool that like geezers like make stuff still, but ultimately like I feel like we're kind of moving it forward, you know? I feel
I named off mad people off the top of my head when he said that. Like, I can name off more. FKA Twigs, Janelle Monáe. Bro, like, what is he talking about?
like there was a lot of millennials that paved the way and influenced what I do now, and I'm very grateful for that. But I think that, you know, there's some and I'm grateful for that, I suppose.
I suppose, okay, because I'm going to say that's self-contradicting, but the way he said it makes it sound like they were asking him to say this so that he doesn't look too bad once they drop this video.
We told you you'd be nervous. We told you we'd be done in 5 minutes. And we told you we'd make a better song even though you know what we're gonna do. And do you know why you know what we're gonna do? Because we do this shit. I'm gonna go back to making hits now.
We do this shit.
We do this.
No, every day. This is what we do.
Like, I don't get up and decide I'm not gonna do it today.
Right. Yo, hey. Yo, hey. I could.
It's something about a horn section or a brass section, quote unquote, in this case. Just like Kyle kens the mood for me. Kyle, thank you so much for putting this video together. This is so fun.
Trophies on the beat, trophies on the block. Running on the thing, something on the block. It'll be easier when we can get ideas.
Drake has a picture of him in his wall and hopes to be him one day.
Yes. Well, that's it. Just another day at work. Good job.
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Good shit, bro. Yeah, that was good.
Millennials have decided they've done enough and they don't need any more time working on their beat. We'll see if their speed has any impact on the quality of their final song.
I think the beat making went really well. Chew is
Okay, that's super respectful. He said the beat making went really well because music production is like the song equivalent of directing a film. When you're directing of a film, there's a whole lot of process in pre-production, production, post-production. Like, it's a whole process. It's not just shooting the footage. So to call yourself a music producer meant a lot of things. You had to be proficient or expert at so many different things. And you might not even be the beat maker, but you could be the beat maker, but you'd also have 100 other things that you have to do by the time that song releases. And then you'd have to worry about what you do after it releases. It's like a whole thing. And beat making is just one little element of it. So it was kind of like this rite of passage thing where, like, if you make beats, it's different if you're like in a band and you're making music with that format. But if you're making beats, you call yourself a beat maker, dreaming / aspiring to one day being able to call yourself a music producer. You don't just get to call yourself a producer just because you make beats. And he said that the beat making process went well, but nowadays you hear a lot of people refer to making beats as producing, which isn't really it. Of course, I never really bring that up when I hear that. This is actually, I think, the first time in my entire life that I brought this up because I know what they're trying to say. And as the years go by, different social norms shift and it's okay to call it producing now. But if you see someone separating the two, like him, this is beat making, production is something different. You could tell that he has a lot of respect for the game.
credits speak for themselves. I knew that it was going to be fire no matter what.
I think the beat making went perfect for us. I'm pretty confident, honestly. And not everything I make is with loops either, but it's just about the efficiency and about what you're trying to get done in that situation. Matt wanted a specific vibe and the loop was just the vibe that he needed. That's the whole point. And at the end of the day, it's really a collaboration, which I think that millennials just understand a lot better.
Now Gen Z has 19 minutes to finish their beat.
I don't really know about that, but in this case, I could see where he's coming from. I mean, them using the guitar, the live instrumentation, doing it from scratch, is very idealistic, and I really, really love that. In the case of a competition, I'd want to take into stock all the options and then choose the best one. But that's just because I'm thinking more from like the business side or maybe the producer side, if I dare to say that. Because in music business, there's a lot of deadlines, a lot of staying up all night to get something done within 2 to 3 days. You kind of got to plan your shit ahead of time. You got to plan the road ahead. By 6 a.m. we got to finish doing this. Then you go take a nap while I take over and finish that part, so on and so forth. Like when you're actually working in the industry, you really got to start thinking like that. Time management or self-management, whatever, however you want to put it. But they're, it seems like they're doing it very pure and idealistically, which is really great when you can do that. And actually, this is my preference. This is my preference of a workflow nowadays, because I'm not under a label or anything anymore. I'm just some guy. So I would actually prefer it this way, but the thing is that this is a competition. There's like a time limit. So that's when you kind of got to spring back into action. So this is telling me off top, which you could already assume, that they don't have a lot of experience.
Record.
Do the same on the other sample and pan them left and right. Same thing, and same thing with the doubles. Left.
Hard left?
Hard
all
left.
the way left?
Yep, hard left.
Now this one all the way right.
Yep.
Classic guitar hard left, guitar hard right. Oh, were they talking about the drums the whole time?
Of where you're going with.
I don't know why. I feel like I just love to work with him. He looks like someone that you just love to work with.
Something that I do not know.
you have to work together as a team a little bit. And I feel like the Gen Zers weren't even talking to each other. Like we went in there and it was dead quiet.
Why is it so quiet in here, guys? Are you guys even making a beat?
They were talking all that shit. It sounds really good if I was like trying to fall asleep.
We need a little time. You all right?
Oh, you guys need a little time?
We need a little time, so.
It's a little hard to perform under pressure.
Yo, how do I zoom out?
That's funny because they were asked to, or they decided themselves to interrupt their session and say hello, talk a little shit, listen to what they got. But when the roles were reversed, like they weren't playing the beat, they don't want them to hear the beat, or they just weren't playing the beat in that moment and they were tired at them and they wanted them to leave. And my whole thing is, if you want to be a troll or you like to crack jokes and talk shit, you got to be okay with receiving the same brand that you give out. Like it can't just be one way, because if it's one way, then you're just being a bully, right? But honestly, it just leads me to believe that some of this is encouraged behavior by the YouTube channel person, Kyle Beats, to make it a little more interesting.
Listen, Mr. Corms.
Dude, they're shitting themselves. There's been a lot of crickets, but it sounds like they're pulling it together. And Tor's fire, so I know they're gonna come up with something dope, so.
Honestly, I could sympathize with that. In the early days when I was collaborating with other producers, I was collaborating more like them, where it was less of a marriage and more of just like, I'm encouraging them to do their thing and they encourage me to do my thing, but we're not really blending, I suppose. But that's also back when I was probably around their age. Well, I don't know how old they are, but I was a teenager. It's very pretty. I like this song.
But at the last minute, Bendit decided he wanted to record new guitars to use in their recording session.
No, we gotta record new guitars. We'll make it really quick though, I promise. No? We'll just do one chord, we'll just do...
You want me to?
Yeah, engineer me. But make sure it's not gonna loop over, so you gotta add some like empty patterns or something.
And when their timer runs out, they literally have to hit export on whatever is there.
I fucked it up, but yeah, let me do it one more time, right, brother? I promise.
Yo, what the fuck?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not losing sleep over these boys. They're okay. And you know, there was a lot of back and forth yesterday, especially with the talking, but me and Matt just pulled up ready for business today and they don't look like they're finna handle business for real, so.
The drums are gonna be easy. You keep it simple with the drums, like some simple goals.
I hear the Gen Z beat over there, and I'm not gonna lie, there are levels to this shit. It didn't sound like Bendit was making the beat, but it didn't sound like it was a collaborative effort of like, yo, this is my idea, and like producer-artist thing. It kind of sounded like producer is making something, now the artist is gonna figure out what to do with the production.
Why did you choose to play the guitar to like make it loop from scratch?
You know, just if we win and I had to record all the guitars from scratch and we had to make the beat from scratch and whatnot, like, you know, I feel like we set ourselves up for the harder challenge. And so when we win the challenge, I think that it'll be more of a victory.
Okay, so it was an intentional choice that they wanted to use all live instrumentation, quote unquote live. They had some other shit in there. Ooh, cool. Is this Kyle Beats' studio? What's that? Did he play football or something? I like that.
What's your plan right now?
We need to quantize these guitars because they are out of time.
Quantize. I thought quantization referred mostly to MIDI notes, drum hits, very transient sounds, and you can do to something like their guitar part. It's just called warping. But then again, isn't quantization just a form of warping? I don't know. I'm not a word scientist.
All right, bud. Before we get going, I'm feeling pretty tired. Yeah. Want to like do like push-ups or some shit? Okay. Yeah.
I was so nervous that
I like that. I've actually done that before too.
He'll get it figured out real quick.
Gen Z decided
it shouldn't take too long. Like I've done all my warping for a song, like in an entire song, multiple tracks, warping in like less than 10 minutes.
they used the beginning part of their time in the studio to go back to the guitars to get the timing right.
Sorry, man.
Dude, do your thing. Don't worry about me. You got this.
This is gonna drastically cut into Tor's recording time on the actual microphone. So let's see if this decision works out for them.
I wouldn't say nervous, but there definitely is a part of me of anxiety where it's getting these guitars quantized, and once those are quantized, it'll be a wrap. I'm in a good state of mind where I'm ready to express creatively.
I'm feeling good. I'm kind of excited to be done. Yeah. I've been like so like full of nerves that I just need it to be over with. You know what
So he's not comfortable being uncomfortable, basically.
I'm saying?
And while we wait for Gen Z to, well, get started, let's stay with the millennials for a little bit.
Feel better? I felt way better, actually. Yeah.
Like actually.
You notice their process, their workflow, they just have an answer to everything. We only got 1 hour to make a beat. This is going to be the formula we use. We're annoyed that the Gen Z came in and talked shit. We're going to use that anger to make the beat even hotter. And then that's when they added the brass section. We're noticing the energy's getting low now. We're a little pooped. So we want to get the blood flowing, do some push-ups. Like, they have an answer to every possible hiccup and hurdle that you would have to face. With the Gen Z, the guy with the pretty eyes, I feel like he's just so even keel, so chill that he could handle shit too. The guy with the earrings though on Gen Z, I feel like he's hanging in there, but he doesn't seem to have like that same guess stamina or grit that a lot of people would have in the music industry.
His music's great, don't get me wrong, but is it gonna move people? Is it going to impact people?
Yeah, I'm moving actually. I was moving.
We're gonna be able to make something that is a little more refreshing, and it isn't gonna feel like I already knew what this was gonna sound like, bro.
That's an interesting point, because that song that they're making right now, it sounds like a song. It's executed nicely though, but he seems really fixated on everything has to be different sounding.
Team, how the fuck you hit a boy when I made dreams? Gotta go platinum.
I like that. So they're punching. And this is how I record vocals now. When I was working in a commercial studio and I was tracking vocals, the levels were so freaking low, like you could barely see the waveform. But there was a reason for it. They had their own process with how they did vocals. Just thinking out loud.
That's fine. It could be a little off. Give it more.
Yeah, a little off is good, because if you're going live instrumentation, having it not perfectly locked to the grid is a very valid thing to do.
It's a bit jumbled right now.
Is this coming from him wishing he could have done guitar better? Or does he actually find this is necessary, like each little detail? Because it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to match their drum section, basically. And then the singer and then the vocalist is just gonna take it from there.
Now, but I think the composition and structure of that track is there completely. We have the ability on a track like this to really talk about something impactful.
Definitely.
How we doing time-wise?
I don't know. I'm not even thinking about it. I mean, I think.
What? I would love to hear that if we were just making music together. But for a challenge, like, I feel like you should be thinking about that.
At the end of the day, I'm just thinking, making the best music possible. So it's got to be done.
What happened? Because it sounds like they haven't recorded yet. I just think by this time we had vocals done almost.
No. Is that counting down? 31 minutes left. He's been warping, or as they're putting it, quantizing for a damn near 30 minutes. It's just one track, right? Like guitar, there's multiple guitar parts. I've done all my warping for a song. Like, it's never taken me longer than 10 minutes. That's like at the most. What the shit? He has his own laws of physics, like space-time must be different for just him. The laws of physics must shift, the speed of light must plummet as soon as he touches something. It's like a self-contained hyperbolic time chamber. How the fuck does it take you this long?
It's done almost.
Yeah, they're still warping sound.
Quantizing, brother.
Yeah, right. He said warping. I thought this was warping. And then he tried to correct his correction back to quantizing. That's just semantics though. Who gives a shit?
Are you sure you have enough time for this?
It's a great question.
Team Millennials have been so relaxed, whereas the Gen Zers, whenever
This was really cool of Kyle, because he could have left them alone. They're half an hour into their hour to record the vocals. But he decided to give them a little nudge to make sure that they have some kind of finished product. So that was really nice of him, because he didn't have to do that. I think he's trying to help them a little bit.
I go in there, they're not even talking to each other. They're just so concerned. Like, they're overthinking it, it feels like.
So where are we in the process right now?
Bro, I don't know how they're going to do this. Like, it would take me 30 minutes to just get a scratch mix down, let alone have to track vocals, process it, and then get a rough mix down. Like, that's crazy.
You want me to just start laying some stuff down that first half?
Sure, yeah, sure.
he was trying not to say, no, I'm not done yet.
Going through the seasons. Riding around and we going through the seasons.
I'm excited. Ready to put something down on that track that's not only gonna mean something to me and Bennett, but to a lot of others out there. All right, we need those chorus vocals over there.
I mean, that was just like really well said. I don't know why it made me laugh though.
Now.
Dude, never have I been this stressed during the creative process, ever.
I think you did enough to win.
I think our session.
I mean, the issue is that they walked in there wanting to run their own program. They kind of wanted to do it their way, which is really cool. But like, there's a lot of places where that doesn't work out. If you get locked up and you go to jail or prison, and there's already a program of how things are run, and you want to walk in there and run your own program, that's really cool, but you're not going to have a good time in there. There's already a well-established program that you got to fit into, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it your way or still be an individual. And the format here is the format, like it's an hour on the beat, an hour on the vocals. But the Gen Z team seems very free-spirited and idealistic about the music making process. The thing is, I don't want them to lose that. I feel like that's really important. But the program here, the system, the format of this competition is what it is, and it's not going to change for you. So you kind of have to be flexible. You have to be open-minded. You have to adapt and find a way to do that, but your way.
If you were to guess what generation we're gonna get for judges, what would you?
Older generation, I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're
what?
gonna get the older generation.
What does that mean?
Well, you know, people in
Like
their...
a boomer?
My name's Chris.
Yeah, what does that mean? Like, the answer was so quick. I feel like this duo, this Gen Z duo, just has this like ageist mentality, which is like really bizarre to me. Because the Gen Z, like the next generation after Gen Z, they're already coming up now. And when they become the second or the third youngest generation, are they going to all of a sudden feel whack? No, they're still going to feel as relevant and as important as they do today. Just because you hit 28 or 30 doesn't mean you just suddenly turn whack or something lesser than. So it's just like a really weird way of thinking. I mean, I fuck with my OGs.
AKA C Diffie. I'm 25, so I'm a Gen Zer. I've been making music for 6 years.
What's going on? I'm Zach. I'm 24.
Dang, I literally would not have guessed any of these guys' ages. Not that anyone looks older or younger than they actually are. Like they just all look like they'd be somewhere between 20 and early 30s. Like it's not like I wouldn't believe he was in his early to mid 20s, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he was like 30. I wouldn't be surprised if he was 22, just like one of those faces.
So I'm a Gen Z. I have 0 music experience.
You're hired. In fact, you might be a little overqualified, but welcome to the program.
Played saxophone in 3rd grade, so I'm pretty unbiased. I'm excited to see what they made for us.
How we feeling, boys?
Blessed.
I actually love that. You have someone who's tapped into the music production process and then someone who's just a listener and enjoyer.
Just breathe in. Riding around, we going through the seasons. I don't need no reason. Standing by your side, no, I can keep it no secret. Waves used to throw me all over the place. Now it's crazy seeing things change. You got my back through the rain, going on through the storm, wiping tears off my face. It's so crazy, it's amazing. Oh, got a lot on my mind, but I gotta stay patient. Going through the tribulations, gotta stand up, stay tall, backing down at it all. Yeah, no matter what they say, I know that I won't fall. When I hear your call, giving you my all. Every day I give you the best of me. Cooking my life, got the recipe, and I turned into a better me.
I gained so much more respect for like these guys to be able to do this, like no pressure. Honestly, just being able to like witness how you guys think and work. I feel so charged up, and I feel like I'm so ecstatic and excited. You know what I mean?
This YouTube video is pretty crazy. It's pretty good. There's like more character development in this YouTube video than there are on some films.
And I am relieved. I am relieved. A lot of peace right now. This was an amazing opportunity, And I will say, never have I been that stressed out or anxious during
I don't know. I really like him.
the creative process. It pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you, Kyle.
Look, I got a quick story, KB Collective, come tap in. I was there when the first song happened. Now I'm out making hits out in Dallas. The royalties about to buy us all the Mavericks. I drop a song on every week. This shit ain't difficult, it's easy as I breathe. Millennial, I buy stock, stack cheese. My Spotify look like the S and the P. How I'm up. All I do is grow shit. All I know is work my ass off and stay focused. They say the internet is kinda like the ocean. I'm trying to go and flip a raft into a boat, bitch. Planting money trees like I'm Kendrick. Swimming pools, but you know it's fancy. Make a rock loop like I'm Bandit. I be buying land.
I got love for the Gen Z. You know, the Gen Z audience. I know it may like seem like I don't, but I really do. I think overall, the Gen Z market needs to do a better job at trying to inspire and create a legacy for the generation before them, just as the millennials did.
How the fuck you
Everything that I've been trying to say throughout this whole video, he just says it in one sentence, like 20 times better. Drake's not gonna be the only person with the poster of him on his wall. Could throw my name in that hat.
hit a boy when I made dreams. About to go platinum in a week, bitch. Maddie Corman every other night could have a freak, bitch. I just need to charge my phone and tap into my DM. Self-made, I don't ever need a fucking LinkedIn. I do this shit, boy. Never been no bitch, boy. I ain't grow up rich, boy, but I made this flip, boy. What's good? I made it happen in the scene. Everybody know my name rings bells for the team.
Has your opinion on the younger generation changed at all since doing this?
I would not say my opinion's changed. I'd probably say it's been confirmed that
The fuck? His Spock ass. He talks like fucking Spock, and it's just so perfect.
they are really slow to figure out how to be effective in music. Where do we get to the point where we are pushing the needle forward in terms of inspiring the people who are to come, and in terms of actually creating that revolution that I think they have the potential to do? Because we did that. People in my generation, the generation before that, inspired me a lot. They still inspire me to this day. They're the ones still pushing stuff forward simply because this new generation of younger people are a little bit slower to figure that out. So
We got two Gen Z judges. Do you guys know what your vote is?
It was much closer than I thought it would be. I love both songs. Both something I'd put on my Spotify playlist. It was good.
That's the fucking metric that I use. Is this something I will put on my playlist?
It was really good. I think I gotta go Millennials though. I gotta go Millennials.
All right. C. Diffie, the final vote. I liked your hook. I like your singing. I like your melodies. I like the beat that you had at the hook. Like, that beat for you. That beat was crazy. I like your hook. Honestly, I like your hook more than the hook for this one. But that beat was just ridiculous. When you brought the brass in, that's your vote? Yeah, Millennials.
Ooh, looks a little disappointed.
I think that because more people can make more
Looks like just another day at work for these two, though.
Because more people can make more music, there's more bad music, but it doesn't mean that music is worse as a whole of it, because I think that music is constantly transforming, not necessarily progressing, but transforming. And I would argue that there's artists in our generation that will stand out in a couple of years, that will have meaningful music that will last. And I think that we're in a phase right now of sifting through all that.
that's actually well put. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, glad I did this. Goodbye forever for now.